Hello everyone, I'm Lucas Alexander and this is the Lucas Alexander Show. Welcome to my podcast. This is once again part of the tribute series I'm doing remembering the Queen of Rock and Roll, Tina Turner, who sadly passed away on May 24th, 2023. And my special guest today was the president of the International Tina Turner Fan Club for many years. She's here as my guest to talk about how she became a fan, how she traveled the world, and how she met Tina several times, also with me when I was a child and a teenager, and therefore she's a special friend, and we've shared a lot of amazing adventures. It will be so exciting, and there will be so much to talk about when we welcome from Amsterdam, Holland, ELLE Denneman. I'm happy to welcome today on my show ELLE Denneman from Holland. Hello,
Okay.
ELLE. How are you? Thank you for being on with me.
Hi, Lucas. I'm fine. A little hot here because it's the attic and the sun is shining.
And you are actually in your Tina room. You have a whole space there in your attic on top of your house that is secluded from the rest, but that is your Tina world. And you have so many years of collecting material about Tina, and you have a lot. And as I just said, you were the president of the International Tina Turner Fan Club. And in those days, this was way before the internet. This was another way of creating a World Wide Web before we had an online connection, because through your fan club, a lot of people from all over the world, including myself as a child and growing up, we were members and we could join that club and get in touch with people from all over, whether it was Africa, America, Europe, Asia. And people could write to each other, old-fashioned pen pal letters, handwritten letters. And you did a lot and extended work for years of doing that fan club, and we're going to hear that whole history. But first of all, ELLE, before we go on, please tell the audience, what did Tina Turner mean to you?
Well, what did she mean to me? I mean, I'm a fan for 40 years, 45, I don't even remember. Well, anyway, the first thing I saw Tina was she did a performance in Amsterdam and she was on television. And I was in shock. And from that moment, because she did Proud Mary, of course, that you did.
And now, something you want, something you need, something maybe you've been waiting for. And if so, then I'll give it to you.
And I was amazed by the massive hair. I mean, it was waving and moving, and she was moving. And well, from that day on, I wanted to have more information about her. So I went to record shops and started to collecting records because we didn't have CDs. Yeah, that came later, I think in '96 or something. I'm not sure. Well, anyway, a long time ago. And if I saw in the magazines something from Tina, I bought the magazine, even though it was such a small picture. I paid a lot of money because I needed that picture. I needed that article. And I don't think I have time enough in this life to put everything together because it's way too much. I think somebody should do it if I'm not here anymore and put it in the museum because it's really, 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 I think I can fill one of our biggest museums in Amsterdam, and that is a Rijksmuseum.
That's fascinating. You've really been collecting a lot, as I know a lot of fans have. But I mean, this is an extended collection, and you also traveled all over the world, seeing Tina on her many tours, and that's where we also traveled together and had so many wonderful experiences during my upbringing and teenage years, and it was like so amazing for me as well. And the way that you and I connected was extraordinary because we were always together and we had so much fun. And you know, the fact that we experienced Tina so much and what was part of that energy night after night and on different tours was just, you will never have that again. You'll never see the like of Tina again. And it was just extraordinary. Please talk about some of those experiences, Elle, what those nights, and there were many, meant to you.
First of all, my first real show in live was in '87. Dus it is a long time ago. And after that, I wanted to see more. And then we went to Hockenheim on a bicycle. My husband had a huge bicycle, and I had my driver's license.
A motorbike, you mean? A motorbike.
A motorbike. And the funny thing was, he was in the back of me and I was steering. But anyway, it was wonderful to be there. Then I went to England, one show after another. I was constantly rejected at hotels, for example, because I was a motorbiker. And they were not allowed to let them in. So I slept on the street. I slept behind cars in parking places. At a certain point, somebody put a light on me and he said, don't you have a sleeping place? I said, no. But the hotel they don't want me. Oh, but we have a spot in our van. And I looked and I thought 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. And I thought, no, I'm fine here. Thank you very much. Thanks for the offer. Bye-bye. Of course, I was driving too fast. I was several times stopped by the police. Oh, you have so much gear on your motorbike, and you have to be careful, and we can book you if you don't. And I was, no, you can't book me. I have to go to Tina Turner. And I've slept at a certain point. I had a tent with me. So at the concerts, there was always a spot, so to speak, where people could put a tent on. And so I had my own spots, and I was depending on the hotels. What else? Driving the wrong way, of course. You have to go that way, and I was going that way, and then I was almost missing my concert, and sometimes freezing when it's cold. Sometimes you couldn't find a restroom or no food or, well, everything. No money. That's a point. At a certain point, I had no money. There were no machines where you could put money out of the wall. How did I do that? I don't know. I don't know anymore. But
And this was back in, was that you say in 87 on the Break Every Rule tour, or was it for an affair in 1990, that tour?
for an affair tour, at a certain point, I was able to go backstage because I really needed the restroom. And there was this guy, and he said, "Did you use that toilet?" I said, "Yes." "Oh my God, I have to clean it because this is for Tina Turner."
Oh, really? You went backstage to use her toilet and you didn't know?
I didn't know, no. What else? Oh my God, there are so many memories.
So in 1990, on her Foreign Affair tour, which was actually my first live experience with Tina as well, and that was so amazing. And I just remember I only got to see two, but it was like, I couldn't believe, I wanted to go on that whole tour, but I was still a child and I wasn't allowed. And I remember at the Break Every Rule tour a few years, before in 1987, my parents wouldn't allow me to go. And I was so upset because I was too young. So, and that Foreign Affair tour was like, wow, what if it is her last tour? Because Tina said the Tina
Yes.
Turner Foreign Affair farewell tour. We thought it was going to be the end. So I was like a little bit depressed, but boy, did we get a lot of wonderful experiences after that. Before you became the president of the fan club. You were a fan driving around, living like a homeless person, really, to go from one place to the other. And you had to pay, of course, to go into all of the shows. So what did you, I mean, what was there any experiences from that first tour that stands out in a way? This was before you met Tina.
Yes, because I met her in 96, so it took a long time in my feelings. Well, anyway, because I was following the tour in 1990, I was really determined to try to get a fan club. So after I came back, I contacted her record company several times. First of all, we were not too pleased with each other because Tina was in Heemstede and I didn't know. And the next day she came in Countdown. So that was where I got my first autograph of her because she was just in front of me. And
Countdown, let me just explain this to the audience, is a show, it's a television show in Holland also, right?
It's a music show with all kinds of artists, singers.
You got an autograph, but then you met her there, or did you sign something backstage?
No, it was just she was doing her show, and at a certain point, we were in the first row, and some people said, Tina, can you sign? And at a certain point, she came to us, and she was signing some photos, and I brought one photo, and maybe I can find it here. My first photo, I don't know. No, it is probably in a book. I have millions of books, and I was very, very, very happy with it. And then I was going to EMI in Heemstede, and we were talking, and I got some bootleg CDs, and I was 1990 bootleg CDs. Hey, I was very happy with it, and we were talking about setting up a fan club. And at a certain point, he said to me, "Okay, do something, make me something, and if you have done something to proceed, show it to me, and then we will decide if you can start with a fan club. In those days, we also had DFF, Dutch Fan Club Federation. And if you wanted to start a fan club, you needed to go there, and then they contacted the artist, and if the artist said yes or no, then you got permission from DFF and start with a fan club. But now I had permission from EMI, her record company. So I started with my first magazine, of course, not as beautiful as I was hoped for, but I mean, it was a start. It was a little booklet, 40 pages. Look, yay! It's a magazine.
Yes.
It is 40 pages. It is Sonia die asked at a certain point, do you have a magazine do you have a newsletter? And I said, yes, I have it. And I mailed her 2 magazines, and she was very surprised because she thought it was just something, not a booklet of 40 pages. She thought it was, what? Something like a news bulletin or whatever. But 2 or 3 pages or so, she liked it very much.
You're talking now by Sonia Outlaw Clark from the Tina Turner Museum that we had on the I had on my show as well. Yes, and she's done a wonderful job with the museum. But I mean, this was of course much later. What you showed me was when the fan club magazine was in color, and this was obviously from the 24/7 period, which was Tina's album in 1999. But you started, when did you start with the fan club? Because I remember becoming a member in, I think, 93 or something.
I started in February 91. Then I started with the magazines. And the first few years, it was only in Dutch. And at a certain point, MTV started with a Tina weekend, so to speak. So I was thinking, okay, you guys are doing a Tina weekend. I will ask you if you want to put the fan club on. And indeed, several times a day, they showed the fan club address and that there was a fan club. And then I thought, okay, now I get foreigners. Foreigners don't read Dutch. It is a very difficult language. Okay, besides my Dutch magazine, 6 magazines a year, I started producing an English magazine, also 6 magazines a year, which became really demanding. I mean, 12 magazines in every 2 months. It became too much. At a certain point, I started asking, okay, do you guys mind half Dutch, half English? I think I did 1 or 2 magazines, and a lot of people said, oh, no, we want an English, oh, we want a Dutch. And so I think in 97, I started with 4 magazines with color pictures and only English. I mean, the fan club was growing, but every year you are also losing a lot of members because they say, okay, magazine, fan club is for kids. While we know Elvis Presley still has a huge fan club, and more people who are already past, they have still fan clubs. And Tina is different. There are so many old stuff coming up on the internet. You can't even...
you can't keep up because
yes.
it's a different time. I remember it well, for years. You were sending out all of these magazines. We all got to know each other from all over the world, met up with all of these people, these fascinating friendships that was so rewarding, so amazing, way before the internet, as I said in the introduction. But when the internet came and when YouTube eventually came and all of that, it all started to escalate, and you got so much information, bombarded with information. So it was like there was no platform, no reason, no way no reason to do a magazine anymore, I suppose.
Something like that, because people started, your magazine, it's all old news. Yeah, well, what can we do? I mean, we have members and we have promised to make 4 magazines a year, so we are still doing it. Sometimes we had special news, and then we were hoping it will not be out before the magazine is out. But in Holland, a magazine is, for example, if you mail it 1 or 2 days later, everybody has their magazine. Then you get England, Belgium, Germany, United States, whatever. They already knew it when the magazine came. But the funny thing is, if you try now to find magazines of the fan club, can't find them. Nobody is doing them away. Nobody is selling them. Everybody is keeping them by themselves because it's something very special. And I think it is. Even though I have had a lot of movings from one place to another. And I think I lost 2 years of the English magazine. Okay, well, that's
Did you? Of your own magazines, you lost them.
I put 2 or 3 magazines aside for my own. Yeah, well. Anyway, the Dutch magazines I have the whole 10 years, only the English. Even though I also have the how do you say, before you bring it to the printer, I had made it first for myself with real photos and all kinds of stuff so that I could see if everything was working very well. And then that's also gone. I only have a few. I can show you.
I probably have all of those old magazines myself. I never threw anything out, so I probably have all of that. It was a great thing. But you can also say that you were there and being very productive doing all of that work with the magazines during all of Tina's active years. It was only on the last tour, her 50th anniversary tour, which was her last one in 2008 and 2009, that, you know, the internet was in full gear and we got all of the information there, right?
if you want to produce a good magazine, like is this with color photos? Yes, this is with color pictures. I mean, you need money. It's very expensive to do it this way. And
Yes, do show a couple of pictures. That would be fun.
1996, Ifonia, we made this painting, so to speak.
Yes.
And it was given to Tina directly, and she loved it. She really loved it.
Yes. So talk about, well, before we go into talking about the meetings, and we were there together at her birthday party in Dortmund in 1996, and it was just so amazing, and we're going to talk about that. But I mean, when it went from being a Dutch fan club that you had spoken to the Dutch EMI to do, right? Then suddenly it became international and accepted by Tina's management and Roger Davis, her manager, right? How did that come about?
Okay. I knew she was living in Europe, in Cologne. And I don't know how, but at a certain point, I got her address. And I thought, okay. I was living in Broek op Lange Dijk. It's close. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay.
I remember that address very well, I have to say. I remember that one very well. Yes.
Well, I thought if Tina is living so close to my place, only 3 hours by motorcycle or car or whatever, I will put my magazine in her letterbox. So every time when a magazine was finished, 1 or 2 days later, I went on the motorcycle and I went to Cologne, put the magazine in her mailbox, and
wow, did you do that?
Yes. And at a certain point, I got a fax from Roger Davies. He loved the magazine, and Tina loved the magazine, and if he wanted to take over the United States fan club. Yes, of course. And the US fan club didn't do much. They did nothing. They only collect money. And I think you got a printed picture and something like a discography or whatever, something.
Yeah, it was terrible. I remember I was part of that as a child, and only just a signed picture, and it wasn't, I don't even think it was a real signed picture.
It was,
and just, I think once or twice or nothing. So it was totally different when you took over. Everything changed. Yeah, for the better, I have to say.
Yes, well, from that moment on, I got boxes full of fan club mail from fans. And sometimes it was really such a pile of letters. And I answered them all. Every single letter. And at a certain point, it cost you so much money that I said, okay, we will only answer letters if they put in stamps or a little money, or in those days you had a coupon you could buy at the post office, and that was for return, an international reply coupon. So you paid for your own letter, so to speak, and you got the letter back you also paid. It was very expensive, in fact, because if you buy such a coupon, it was, I think, 2 guilders 50, and you only got 1 guilder 25 back. So it's very expensive for administration or whatever. Anyway, after some years, it stopped. I don't know why it stopped. And people found out Tina's address in Zurich. So a lot of people sent letters to her home directly, because it was also on the internet. This is Tina's address. Yeah, well, then you don't need a fan club, right? You do it direct. And I would have done the same, even though I must say, one time I also wrote a letter to Tina. I got it back in the pile, unopened. So, and I thought, uh-oh, it's no use to send her a letter because she's not opening them. And it was a disappointment.
I think it's way too much if she would have to open all of those thousands of letters that people send, and everybody will find her address anyway. She lived in London first after moving from America, and then to Cologne, and then to the south of France and Switzerland. And those addresses were quite easy to get. And, you know, she was in a lot of magazines about where she lived and all of that. But you did get a lot of mail directed to Tina, right?
Well, some people were asking for money. Something is just coming in. One time I got a shoebox, and it was for Tina, so to speak. So I opened it, and you will never believe what was inside. 3 silk trousers, no, underwear, a yellow one, a red one, and a blue one, and some shoes, and some pantyhose. And I was, oh my God, you can't believe this. Some underwear, and there was a price tag on it, $9.90 or something, but it was very cheap. And oh my God, sometimes people are crazy. They send you things that you think, okay, sorry, I just throw it in the garbage because you can't send it to Tina. That's too much.
Of course. I mean, but did you experience a lot of people? I mean, there are some really, really wonderful people that we got to know and that are part of our so-called Tina family and that group. But did you also experience some really crazy people? Because it does attract a few interesting, well, personalities as well, right?
Yes. I think some people, it's better to not mention, because maybe they feel honored if I mention them. So no, let's not do it.
I think any celebrity that's a big celebrity, it does attract those really hardcore, very obsessed fans that have where Tina or Elvis or whoever is their whole life. They don't have a life other than that, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, anyway, most people are decent, so to speak. But as soon as Tina in the neighborhood or there's a meeting, or you announce a meeting, people become crazy. And I can imagine, for example, in 1996, we had a TV show with Ivonie, and I was able to invite 50 people. They said to me, and that was for the meet and greet. And of course, I was also very nervous because I had to arrange this thing, so to speak. And at the same time, she was also on another show. And fan club members also wanted to go there. But I said, no, it's one show because we have a huge fan club. Or you go to Ivonie, or you go to the other show. I don't remember which one that was, but that's okay. That's at the same night. And when we were at the Ivonie show, then I got a message from whatever. It's only allowed for 15 people instead of 50. The meet and greet, and I was, oh my God, how do I handle it? Because I gave numbers on the inside of the hands because I really thought it was 50, and now it was 15. And then your throat start closing. Well, anyway, at a certain point, we had 15 people, And then somebody was screaming, somebody is inside who is not a member of the fan club. And I was, oh my God, don't. So I went to everybody because I didn't know all the faces. And at a certain point, I came to this lady and she said, yeah, but I am with her. I said, are you a member of the fan club? I am with her. Okay, out. And the lady who was screaming outside that she was in without a membership, I said, okay, you can come in. And the people around the TV studio said no. And I was, oh my God, this lady, I really wanted to have her in the meeting because she was a member from the beginning. And, you know, and it's something you want to accomplish for everybody, which is not possible if your fan club is so big. Something.
It must have been a difficult situation for you when the management, I guess it was the management who told you that it can only be 15 people, and then you thought it was something else. You had to really select. And did you do the select? I guess you had to do the selection, right? Who was supposed to come with you?
1 to 15. I just took the numbers 1 till 15, and that was it. Because the rest, they said, what is this number? I said, I'm sorry, your number is not valid anymore. But this girl had no number. But it was also a little hectic because somebody screamed, okay, you can come into the room. So people start running. And then I had to select. And it made it difficult. And then later on, people were pissed and you know, I was hoping, and I'm sorry, I can't do everything for everybody. I do my best. I was hoping for everybody that they could meet Tina. Wasn't possible. But I think the very good thing in this whole thing is we were in the same room as Tina while she did singing and talking with Ivo and interact with the public. I mean, that is also very special. Even though you don't have an autograph, and Tina was signing when we were backstage, so to speak. And it was really fantastic. She also asked for the group photo. It was fantastic. And at a certain point in the United States, I also asked for a meet and greet because I thought, okay, Americans should have the same rights. And then I got a message, yeah, you can have 12 people. And I was, oh my God, how do I select 12 people? The fan club was growing. More Americans, more foreign people. And okay, I went to my database and I thought, okay, I will pick people who are born between 1940 and 1960. I thought some older people, because I was thinking the younger ones have more opportunities in the future. And these people need an opportunity now because they're also fans for a very long time. And one of the persons I picked was a lady who her husband died a few days before the meeting should start. So I was very shocked because her husband said to her, you have to go. You must go. This is your only opportunity. And it was an American lady. I still have contact with her. And she was very happy that she could meet Tina.
Wow. Yes. What was
really,
it like? I mean, that sounds incredible. Also, to have to choose all of this. What was it like for you to meet Tina for the first time? You had been a fan at that point for a long time. You had actually struggled to get into that position, made the effort to go to Cologne every time a new magazine was out. Tina enjoyed it. Roger Davis, her manager, allowed you to become the president of the international fan club. So everything was kind of pointing in your direction at that time in terms of Tina, not the fans interacting with the management, but with you. So that
yeah.
means finally you could have the opportunity also to meet Tina there in Holland. What was that like for you?
Well, my first meeting was in England at the Des O'Connor show. I knew that she was doing her new single. And a friend of mine, a fan club member, I call them friends because in those days, everybody is a friend. I mean, even though it's a fan club member, I call them friends because I love them all. Well, he said, I have 2 tickets left for the Des O'Connor show because I wasn't able to get it myself, one way or another. And I said, oh my God, wonderful, wonderful, because you still are writing, not emailing, still writing letters to each other. And I said, please send them over. And I was making arrangements for the hotel and for traveling to England. And okay, on Saturday morning, just before we had to leave by boat to England, I had to rush to the PO box to see if my tickets were there because I was, oh my God, if there are no tickets, what will happen? Thank God the tickets were there, so we could leave to England. And I had also the address of management in London. And at a certain point, we said to each other, let's go to management. Because before that, I have asked several times, is it possible to meet Tina? Blah, 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 blah. Now, you know the procedure. They never said yes. But the minute I rang the doorbell at management, a nice lady opened the door and she said, you will meet Tina tonight. And I was, okay, thank you very much. Like that, cold as ice. While my heart was beep, beep.
A division of the management was in London.
That's right. One time I had thrown a bouquet of flowers and a letter. I threw it on stage. And to my surprise, Roger Davies answered my letter. So I had his address. And I also got a single with some signed photos. It's in my book. Everything is in books. Well, anyway, that's why I knew I could go there. But the funny thing is that Ruud, he was with me and he was like, is this Elle? Not screaming or jumping or whatever. Anyway, we talked with a lady and she said about that the time and whatever, and we gave the address. We already had the address and whatever. Now, anyway, we said goodbye. And as soon as I went outside, Ruud said, Elle jumped as high as the tower, at the Tower of London, screaming my lungs out. Oh my God, I'm going to meet Tina. Whoa. Well, on the corner of that street, there was a florist. So I bought a huge bouquet of flowers. And happy, happy, happy. Okay, we had to be there at 6:30, 7 o'clock. It was rush hour when we went in our car and we couldn't find the way to the studios where Tina was going to be.
Was it at the BBC studios or ITV? I don't remember.
I think ITV.
Was it ITV? Right. Okay. This was in 96 when she was in the beginning of 96 when she was promoting her Wildest Dreams album.
Yeah, it was 96. And Ruud went, he stopped the car. He went into a pub, asked for the address, and the guys inside said, rush hour. No way you will be there on time. And Ruud said, I have a lady in my car who will kill me if I'm not on time at the studio. Then we parked the car and I jumped in front of a taxi. I said, I have to go there. And he said, I am out of duty. I will take. And I was, no. And he said, I will bring you to another chauffeur and he will bring you to the studio. Okay. Then Ruud said to the driver, where did you pick us up? Where did you pick us up? Because we didn't know where we were when we parked our car. So the man gave the address. He could write it down because otherwise we would have never found our car back. Okay, from this taxi to another taxi, and we were there in time. 6:30, I think, 6:55, and I was standing like this and crying because I was so nervous. I was so, nervous. And okay, at a certain point, people were very nice and whatever. You're going to meet Tina, blah, blah, blah. Now, we went into a corridor and we were standing in the hallway and I was still shaking like a puppy. And then we went in. Kevin Aquan was there. And Roger was there. And somebody else, which I don't remember. Anyway, I think they needed 3 people, because we were with the 3 of us, to keep us separate, that we should jump into Tina, just in case, protection for Tina. So Kevin Aquan, he was a little bit in my space, and Roger was a little bit in Ruud's space, and somebody else was in the other one.
It might have been Patrick Prendergast. Do you remember him?
Yes, Patrick.
Yes.
Right.
Who was always with Tina as head of security at the time.
Yes, that's right. Anyway, as soon as they noticed that we didn't do anything strange, it became relaxed. And I could give Tina a pair of earrings. They were especially made in Norway by a Norwegian artist. They were very beautiful, I think. I never saw her wear those, probably too cheap. Well, anyway.
But what was it like when she entered and you met her, that moment for you? Because you had been like so nervous and finally you had now it was your time after all the work you had done.
As soon as I went, the door opened, I was calm. And I said, hi, Tina, I'm ELLE Denneman. And I brought you the new magazine and I have a present for you. That kind of stuff. And Ruud was making pictures, which I'm very, very... We didn't have digital. We were analog. So we had to be developed. It was wonderful. Then we met the girls because Roger said, come on. And then we went in.
But did she seem like she was... Did Tina seem like she was happy, or was she very accepting about the work that you were doing for the fan club?
She
Because
loved
how
it.
did you feel about that?
I gave her the magazine, and the first thing she said, "Ah, that's Bono, that magazine."
Yes.
And I think I gave Patrick a magazine, and Roger, and somebody from. He was also in the hallway. He could also. Plus, I gave the flowers, and they gave. Patrick is in the hallway with the flowers at a certain point because we were out of the dressing room. She had to be changing for meeting and singing, and but it was wonderful. I was no longer shaking. I was very, very happy, and I was hoping for a cup of tea in the future and shopping, and hoping for hoping for a close friend. It's never happened, of course. But
No, I mean, Tina is certainly somebody, and I also met her several times, as you know, but she was like, there were two sides to her. The more shy, or, well, shy is probably, I don't know if that's the word, but I met her when she was very calm and very nice, a little bit more warm. And then there's the Tina was ha 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 and hello and jumping around and, being, well, warm, but that
yeah,
could be seen as a little bit more superficial, not to say anything bad, but it's just the more professional side, having to meet a lot of people. But it's just that thing that she was not, it seemed like you were really accepted, and
yeah,
it was wonderful when you were with her, but she was not somebody who was hobnobbing or hanging out with anybody really, and not even celebrities or anybody else. Actually, she was kind of a recluse when she was off stage, huh?
well, the funny thing is, she after we made some photos, Ruud asked Roger, "Am I allowed to make pictures?" And Roger said yes. And after that, she gave me a kiss on both cheeks, and I was like, "Oh my God, she is amazing," because she is doing not like a huge artist with like Diana Ross. I have stories about her that she is whatever, but Tina is back to earth in my feelings. She was
More
so
down to
natural.
earth, yes.
Yeah, that's what she was. And I've met her also several times. Oprah, there, Ivony,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah, and of course our the at the birthday party when we were together. And
Dortmund.
only 19 selected fans from around the world, or Europe, I think it was at the time, right? And it was such an amazing and wonderful, exciting day. And Tina was so like accommodating and very, very charming and happy that day, wasn't she? Wasn't that just such a great, great time with her?
Yeah, and all the presents we were able to give, and I still have your pictures here.
Yes. Can we see them? Yeah, I took some great pictures of you and Tina. That was so wonderful. And also I remember one of them when she was making a funny face because we were laughing.
Oh,
Oh, you have to turn it around.
let me see. Oh, one second. Oh boy, oh boy, boy.
Yeah, and then we can see some of the other stuff. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I took those ones of
Yeah,
you.
well,
Look at that huge. You have to put it up more for the other fun one.
this, one second. It's difficult. This is the funny one, but she has a funny face here, but you hardly see it. It's
Well, I
oh
can try and put them into the show.
yeah, well, it's just fun. It's just funny pictures.
They're
Okay.
absolutely fun. Maybe we can go on a little trip around your room when we just before we finish. But yeah, that was amazing, and we got gifts. We got gold wrapped gifts from Tina that
I
she
still have
handed
it.
out to all of us.
I still have it wrapped, even though I've opened it because I wanted to see what was on the tape. And it was us all, not Bush. One more time, not Bush.
Not Bush. One more time when she came down, and every night she came down to sing with us. Wasn't it amazing? I mean, we had those amazing moments where she always knew who we were and came down and was actually giving us quite a lot of attention. But we were also there first row every night, whenever, you know, Ella. I mean, we traveled around.
Oh, we have made miles, not kilometers, miles. Oh boy, I won't do it. I love to do it again. Tina, you have to come back.
I was still growing up at the time. And for me, it was so amazing because, you know, being a child and then you go into your teenage years, and was a little bit of a difficult time kind of for me in school. And I remember that year in 1996, obviously, I took off for like most of that, well, not most of the year, but you know, I was home still but I was not in school for a long time because we traveled around. And I remember because then you got the all access pass.
Yep.
So we could go in and I could join you. And we were standing there also way before the whole thing happened. Well, before I got some myself. I mean, it was just a wonderful time. I will never forget it. I don't know if we could even explain what those things were, because it was Tina and it was wonderful, but it was also that communication between us and the fun, the adventures of all of us being there together and the friendships we formed. It was an adventure in an adventure, not just going to the same show every night, huh?
This is all access pass, right? Oh, 24/7. Yeah.
Oh yes, and that was a few years later, but also in '96. I mean, that was the biggest tour, wasn't it? I mean, my God,
Yes.
she played every
Yeah,
city.
it was amazing. I think she did 143 shows that year, something like that. Yeah, it was. It was very. Yeah, it was amazing. After that, she didn't do that big tours, but she worked her butts off, so to speak.
She really did. And I mean, I don't know if we can even go into if there's something we remember that stands out, because there are so many memories, but it's just that whole thing of being in the stadium with thousands of people, and we were at Wembley Stadium, we were at Cologne and Munich and out of nowhere, Amsterdam. I mean, Denmark, of course, Denmark,
Norway.
Norway. Do you remember when we were in Norway?
Yes.
In Oslo,
Yes.
first row?
Oh, definitely. Oh my God. You are still in the newspaper and I'm standing next to you.
Yes, well, they gave me 2 pages, and I was even bigger standing there, hey, than the pictures of Tina after her show.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so much fun, but I mean, all over that whole tour, that really that made a big change for me also, because it was in those formative years for me, and being with those people around the world, it made it special because there wasn't online communication. So becoming part of such a global family was quite amazing.
I remember when we were at Ivonie in 96. At a certain point, Roger came to me and he said, "Do you guys have email?" And I was, "Email? What's that?" Dus I went to Ruud. I said, "Do we have email?" "Yes." "Oh, what is it?" So I gave him the address, even I didn't know what it was.
Wow, that must have been a very, very early version of email because, well, the
Yes, it
internet
was.
started mostly for businesses in 95, 96, but for regular people, it was like way late 90s, like 99 or 2000 or something, right?
Can you imagine? 96. I still see Roger coming to me and, "Do you have email?" Huh? What's that?
Yes. I remember, that's funny. I remember when we were in Ghent or Ghent,
Yes.
I don't know how you say it in French,
On Ghent. Ghent. It's
in
Belgium.
Ghent in Belgium, which is a small town, but Tina happened to play 11 shows there. Do you remember? It was like one after the other.
Yes.
And
I
it was
stayed
like,
there for 40, a fortnight because we wanted to see every show.
yes. And do you remember? And I remember you came on your motorbike, and at that time you had like the huge hair like Tina, huge hair, and you were putting on your helmet. And then when you came in your biker clothes, your black thing, then as soon as you took the helmet off, it's like the hair went with it. Hey!
Yes, the funny thing is, a friend, I went swimming with a friend of mine when I had the big hair, and I jumped in the water and it went under and I came above and she was, "Oh my God, your hair is still the same."
Really? It's still underwater. You must have put a lot of hairspray in it, huh?
Yeah, well, like this. Dit is also hairspray. So.
Yeah, but it looks quite different now.
Oh, yes, yes. The color is also changed.
Yeah, you had kind of purple hair, didn't you?
Yes, now it's more reddish. More
So I mean, in those days, it was. Do you remember? By the way, I was just thinking about something about the show in Ghent. I remember that was the first and only time that at the very last show, I felt, oh, now I need just a little break. It was not because of Tina, but it was because of the standing for hours, being around. You know, you couldn't go to the bathroom, and also there was suddenly these young guys. Do you remember those dressed in army clothes and with like army stuff they had painted here, and they were so wild, so abrasive, and they took up a lot of room in the first row. And when Tina came down to sing, one of them touched her breast, and then she went directly up. She was so upset. Do you remember that?
Yeah, she was pissed. There also, I don't remember where it was, but at a certain point at the show, somebody tried to take her wig off.
That is true. Somebody tried to pull in her wig, and even though I think it was really sitting there tightly and with the hairpins and all, she never came down to sing again.
That's right. I mean, I should have done the same. You have to be decent and not touching anybody's breast or whatever, or trying to pull off a wig. I mean, this is an artist, and you have to keep your distance. You can shake hands if she wants, but you don't do stupid things, which I think it's very stupid. Oh,
So
well, I have touched her breast. Oh,
yeah, and
good.
those guys were just like, they weren't regular fans. They were just like those hooligans, really. They were the equivalent of hooligans, like in going to football matches. It was so annoying. So it was like I remember that was just the strangest night. But anyway, we had a great time also with the band. We were hanging out at the hotels with the band. We got to know all of them, and the dancers. At that time, she had the three dancers, the two twins, Karen and Sharon and Cynthia.
And some guy came to me asking if I was Karen or Sharon. You remember?
I remember. That is crazy. I remember that. If you were one of the dancers.
Isn't it wonderful? All these, we have a million memories. I think time is too short to get all the memories.
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many, but it is fun to remember some of those, because I think that is also what comes across, such a long friendship and so many things that happened, so many wonderful adventures, and now it's been a difficult year because Tina passed away. I mean, how did you feel? I mean, she was sick, obviously. She was ill for a long time with kidney failure, intestinal cancer, and a stroke, but we thought she was kind of recovering, huh? What do you think about what really happened here?
I had plans to go to the United States in 1989. Nee, 99. And I got ill, hospitalized, so I didn't go. But when I saw her on television, I was in shock. And I really...
Oh, you mean I have to correct you, because you said 1999, I think. 2019, right? When she did her last public performance, or public appearance at the musical on Broadway.
I made a huge mistake. I mean 2019. So my last chance. I really felt this was my last chance to see Tina. And I was really shocked when I saw her, because she could hardly walk. You could see her face that she was not well. When she later on was sitting in a chair, and I saw her feet were swollen, and I was, oh my God, her kidneys are not working the way they should. And I also heard that she got the kidney from heroin, and after 6 months, she needed more medicine because her body was starting to reject it already that soon. I don't know if this is true, because you hear things and whatever. But I thought she was really sick. She couldn't stand long. And she was trying to, oh my God, I'm 80 and I am. She wasn't even, later on we saw that video. I'm 80 and I feel fine.
Yes, she did that, and but we certainly talked about it also, and I also suspected that this is not as great as she's trying to pretend, and she wanted her fans and the public and the press to know that she was fine, but and it was a sensitive topic also for a long time for a lot of fans. I remember when it was so visible that she had a stroke and she was not well, everybody said, no, don't say that about her. But that was way before she came out admitting it publicly, because there's quite a bit of denial there. I mean, because everybody wanted her to be well and the same, but you could never imagine somebody that full of life, so much energy, giving such wild performances. She was known for being an older, a mature performer that never grew old. So you couldn't imagine her not being there, and she still looked great. It was only when the face changed a bit because of the stroke that you could actually see something visibly. So it's like it was a more difficult loss, because we always knew that she was older and having this amazing energy, right?
Yep. Just remembers I was on television when she became 80, after I went to Cologne. This was her 80th birthday, so to speak, party. And the lady at the TV show asked me, "What do you think? Does Tina have a huge party because she's celebrating her birthday?" I said, "No, she's not celebrating big because she's not feeling very well." "Yeah, that's what I heard," said the lady said, and she was 80. There was no party. And I don't know if you have seen this. Yes, you have seen the photos. At a certain point, I found some black and white photos of Tina. And you also found them. One of those guys wrote a message. "Yes, Tina, we should have celebrating your 80th birthday, but you were not feeling very well. So we postponed it, and then Corona came and blah, 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 blah. And then she became 83, and this is your final birthday." Do you remember?
Yes, of course. That was, I think, Jeff Latham. I found
Yes.
on his Instagram. That's her
Yes.
florist, the guy who
Yes.
made all the flowers at her wedding to Irvin in 2013. And yeah, and he showed all those pictures at that relatively small but quite beautiful birthday
Good
party, her
photos.
last
Yes.
her
You could
last
see
one.
her. Yeah, but especially the photos with Jeff and Roger, and you see her face. Her face had changed a lot. I mean, she was laughing, but yeah, well,
She looked like a different Tina.
yeah, very much.
And it was probably just a matter of time, but still it was a shock. How do you, I mean, in the last many years, Tina was kind of kept out of the public eye, and I guess she wanted it that way. And Irvin was very protective of her, right? I mean, nobody actually came close to Tina. She didn't have much to do with the management anymore. And Rhonda, her assistant and personal close friend that I interviewed as well, she was still living in America and and then sadly she passed away. And I mean, so she was like not meeting a lot of people. And I guess also Irvin protected her from knowing a lot of people, right?
I think so too. Yeah, he was very protective. You could see it in pictures, and yeah, well, I think she was very happy with him. Let's go that way. And they were together 37 years or something. I mean, 85. So yes, a long time. Anyway, yes,
Do you
27.
think there will be any public announcement or anything where Irvin will speak to the press or do a public appearance about his life with Tina or what happened to Tina? Because right now we're left with absolutely nothing. No mention of a funeral or a funeral service, a ceremony, or spreading the ashes at the sea like Tina did with her son Craig, who sadly took his own life in 2018, which must have devastated her enormously. And Ronnie, her son, died just half a year, 6 months before she died. And I mean, she really went through a lot, but we're left with nothing, right? I mean, we don't know what Irvin is doing or how he's doing.
I have sent several messages to management. They don't answer. But I'm a little, well, I don't know if you can say that, a little spiritual. And I have, no, yeah, well, I call it pendle.
Well,
It's,
a pendulum.
well, and I have asked the pendle several questions. And I told you what the pendle told me.
Will you say it here on the show?
Um, Do you think I can?
We should put it under speculation or under your download from another world, or in a spiritual sense, so that it's not a factual thing, so we can, I guess we can still talk about it, and then people can take it or leave it, doesn't matter. But this is what you got from a spiritual practice.
Okay. I said she is cremated and she is still in the house. And another thing, she probably died 1 or 2 days earlier than the 24th. And that shocked me. But
I mean, a lot of people have been speculating, though, if she actually died on the 24th.
Yes. Information. Nobody is giving it. Even her niece contacted me. Can you tell me what happened to Tina's remains? Can you imagine? Her niece, Sharon.
All right. Well, I mean, that's how it is. And it also, it tells you a little bit about what we all also know, that Tina wasn't known to be too close to her family.
Yep, that's right. When she passed, I did the pendle, and every time if I do it, it tells me the same thing. So, and the pendle is not lying.
This is what you feel, that it is the pendulum is not lying. It's not something you're doing, or it's something. It's like a download that you manifest in a way.
Yes, so to speak. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you feel that when you say that Tina is still in the house, her remains, obviously, you said that you get the sense that she was cremated. She's in the house, but what about that big house? They just bought a big estate a year and a half ago, with all of the money that they got from selling her catalog and all of her songs, and the rights, even the rights to use her name and her likeness, which they sold for an incredible amount. And then they bought this huge estate also in Switzerland near Lake Zurich, around the lake from where they already live, at the Algonquin. But they did put out publicly that Irvin wanted to do a European museum there, right?
Yeah, I hope he will. But right now, he needs to mourn, because she was the love of his life. But there's another thing I wanted to say. She died May 24. May 23, he left the house.
Did he? Because somebody said that, but what do you know about that?
I saw it. There were 2 cars. His car and another car. They left. I think because it was not in the open when she really died, he was able to arrange everything for her. So she could cremate it. He could do a Buddhist say goodbye in the house, and maybe he invited people on a different spot so nobody knew anything. I mean, you can make this story as big as you want. For example, on Monday, 2 days before she died, a friend of mine was at her letterbox, and he put a letter in the box. And I was, oh my God, and Tina is dying.
What?
That was my first feeling. 2 days before she really died.
Yeah, which happens, ELLE, to be my birthday. And I remember, because my birthday is on the 22nd of May. And I had a strange feeling back there. But that's a whole other thing. But
Lucas, it gives me the chills. Oh my God. ah, that's those feelings. Oh, it looks like she's here. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. But that's what I think. That's what I felt.
I really hope she didn't die on my birthday. That was all, because I have been thinking that, because some people started to say that maybe it was a day or two, day or two before, because nobody saw anybody medically or going back and forth from the house when the news was out on the 24th. The gates were there too for people to put the flowers and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they were expecting this. And that's more than normal, because everybody knows where she was living. It was in the open.
Now that we're into the field of being, well, speculating and going into spiritual downloads and those things that we don't know as a fact, so we can put it under the guise of gossip.
Oh yes, of course.
So if we do that, some people speculate also whether or not Tina made the decision herself, because she said years before publicly that what they have in Switzerland is that program called Exit that she signed up for, because she didn't want to live anymore. So they can actually make that conscious choice and do it in a really protective way with supervision. But and somebody started to mention that. But what are your thoughts on that idea?
I don't know if she really did it. Something crossed my mind. Oh yeah, you know, her daughter-in-law.
Oh,
she said last December, when Ronnie already died, Tina's in the hospital. That's what she said. I don't want to talk about her because I think she is a slut.
She's a hard one to swallow, so to speak, don't you think?
Definitely. But the minute I saw this guy putting an envelope in Tina's letterbox, the next day he got photos which weren't Tina's. He got signed photos back already.
I know. I saw that. But what I've also seen in the past, let's say, in the last year, that everybody that got a signed photo back, it is the same signature. So somebody talk about this automatic pen, which is a device that has already registered how you sign your autograph, that can, like an AI thing, go on a picture and then sign it, because they all look the same, even though some of it was smeared. So I mean, you don't know if that was actually the real signature, huh?
Let's go to CD. This is the real one.
That is certainly the real one. Absolutely. Wonderful. But I mean, what are your thoughts on those terrible things that happen with her family, that Tina's two own sons that she gave birth to, not the foster sons, the adopted sons that Ike had already, but her own sons, was died before Tina. Craig suicided himself, took his own life in 2018, and then Ronnie died from a cancer related situation, also intestinal, I think, in just a year and half a year before Tina died. Isn't that I mean, that must have been so absolutely horrible for her. But I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think she loved her kids very much, even though she also felt she wasn't a good mother because she was always on the road. And she also told everybody on TV that Craig had difficulties with it. And that's, yeah, well, they have also had a huge package from those days with the life with Ike. Yeah, maybe because both her children were no longer with her, that she thought, okay, why shouldn't I go? I don't know. Because it's very normal that your children live on while you're gone. You don't overlive your children.
So devastating for her, and considering the fact that she was known for the world, to the world, as a survivor who came from poverty and into slavery in a way. I mean, in being a victim of Ike and all of those horrible days there, and then she became this huge star with a huge comeback, a very rich woman, beautiful woman who was so successful and revered by not only fans, but also by everybody in the business, in the music business. And then it all just was beautiful. But then after she married Irvin in 2013, which was her dream wedding, actually, then everything started with her 3 illnesses and her 2 sons dying. And Rhonda Graham, her best friend, also died. So I mean, it was it ended up being quite I mean, it was really some rough years again in her life. So it started in a difficult way and it ended in a difficult way. Even though she said in the interviews that she felt that she was serene and she was happy, huh?
Yeah, after she got married, she said, I am in nirvana. And there is a saying, nobody should live in nirvana because it will be taken away from you. You have to suffer. And she has suffered so much, way too much. Almost too much to live on, I think.
It's difficult.
Very difficult.
How have you been coping? Because it's been difficult for all of us who has had all of those experiences with Tina and have met her and been around all the shows and all of that. What's it been like for you? It's a separation from something major in life, even though she will still be there and we will still listen to the music and that will live on in a different way.
I get it. I still give me a minute. Otherwise I start crying. When she died, a part of me died. Oh, okay. It was a Wednesday night, and a friend of mine sent me a message. Tina Turner died, and I was like somebody hit me with a boxing ball straight in the face. I couldn't believe it. Our son was with us that month, and he was walking in the park across our house, and he came running back and he said Tina Turner died, and he grabbed me and I still have trouble with it.
And also, people around you, even though they think, oh, well, it wasn't a family member, it wasn't your mom, it wasn't somebody like that, but they just don't really, and therefore you can't really, you have to talk to somebody who feels the
The
same.
funny thing is, for zover you can speak about funny, within 30 minutes, TV was hanging on my phone. Tina Turner, we just got a message, Tina Turner is passed away. How do you feel? Whoa. Oh my God, said the lady. This is too much, isn't it? I said, yes. So can we talk to you tomorrow morning? I said, yes. I was. Well, you saw the video. That was the next day.
I guess a lot of people just don't understand what such a person means to people that have that special connection with
I was
somebody
in my
like that.
20s and I followed her my whole life. So she felt for me like a friend. Even though she wasn't my friend, I was a fan of her. But in my mind, she was my friend. I felt very close to her.
And I've spoken to quite a few people about this. And I also made a long video on my channel here where I explain and share all of my stories and my experiences with Tina and how I met her and about some of our experiences together. But what I'm trying to say there is that it's not just about being a fan and being, oh, the great songs and whatever. It's not even about the songs. It's about, I try to explain it as a kind of a spiritual connection that you cannot explain to somebody who's almost like, I call it like an alien or somebody who's from another world that a lot of people are connecting to in a certain way. So it's way beyond just the hair and the legs and the wild voice and the great music, because it didn't really matter what kind of music she sang. It was something beyond that you couldn't see, that layer that was invisible.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well.
Is that how you see it too?
And sometime, I think 10, 15 minutes ago, she was here. She was with us.
Did you feel that? And it's difficult to tell that to anybody watching because...
I don't care. They can say I'm crazy or whatever. I don't care. I mean, it's my feeling. It's my connection with her, one way or another.
What was that like for your husband to have this fan club president and this huge fan of Tina Turner, a representative in that way, as a wife traveling around the world?
Well, we have had our share of problems. But at a certain point, because we really wanted to have a fantastic magazine, he started working for the fan club, so to speak. He was the editor of a fan club magazine. And it became very beautiful. I was the one who put in the text. I collected the pictures and I told them on which page what had to be. And our last magazine, the cover was developed by a friend. Because he said, Elle, you need a new cover. And I said, okay. I don't remember if it was only the last issue, but probably 2 or 3 issues that we changed the cover. And everybody was devastated when I announced on the last magazine that we were stopping because of the loss of a lot of members, because of the internet. Everything was already out. You couldn't keep a secret anymore. You couldn't surprise the people. And okay, I wasn't expecting that she was coming back in 2008 and 2009, but she did it. And people were asking, please make me a magazine, please make magazines. And I said, no, that time is over. And then there were people saying, can you please make me an old magazine? And I went to a printer, and it's amazing how expensive. I could only make one magazine for 30 euros. Well, nobody will pay 30 euros. And I wasn't thinking about doing such a thing, but because several people were asking, can you please ask? And I said, okay, I will go after it. And okay, maybe if you order 10 or 20 magazines, it will be a little cheaper, but it will be a lot of money. Plus, you need an envelope, plus you need postage, plus magazines are stolen very often. Because
and there's not enough people to do like a massive production like in the old days, because people get everything from the internet. So it's only like a very few hardcore fans that may want to do that. But you just mentioned her last tour in 2008 and 2009, and we were there also in Europe. I don't know if you went to the States. I didn't.
Yes.
On that tour. Yeah, you probably did. But I at least went on the European tour, and we were together many times also in London and wherever. But tell me how you think that last tour was. I mean, that was like a major production, almost like a stage play in a way, huh?
Yeah, well, Tina was doing the shows, but she had changed a lot. I thought she wasn't less happy one way or another. Maybe she already was feeling uncomfortable because something in her body wasn't right. I mean, okay, it was a few years after, but I mean, 2008, 2009, your body can have problems and it comes out a few years later. So it was 4 years later that she's starting with all her problems. And sometimes I have thought, Tina, why on earth have you done this last tour? Because it has killed you. This tour has killed her. It has made her sick. Because she was almost 70. And even though we have a lot of energy, that body has been working overtime. And I think she didn't need it to do it. I loved to seeing her and whatever. But inside, there were voices, and they said to me, oh my God, why on earth is he going on tour again?
Really? Well, that was, it was interesting. I think Eddie Amani, her former assistant, who's also a friend, said something similar about Tina, actually, about that last tour.
Yeah.
That you're just mentioning now, although it was 4 years later. I mean, she was visibly bigger, certainly.
Yes,
I mean,
high blood pressure. She still had that high blood pressure. She already had it since 78, 76. And if you have high blood pressure, you have to take care of, really. If it's too, I don't know how high it was. But she said, well, my mother had it and I had it. Yes, but her mother and her sister didn't go on tour. And being as active on the States as she was, even though her activities were lower.
She was incredible seeing a 70-year-old woman, which she turned 70 just a few months after that tour ended. So it was remarkable. So I mean, of course, on one side we say maybe that could have caused some of her health problems, but there are also those who's more into holistic healing and possibly the spiritual realm, who say that Tina probably never really had therapy for everything she went through with Ike, and she tried to push it away in her mind. She never wanted to talk about it. She was constantly reminded of that in the press, and all she wanted to do was to have a great life because she was so successful and everything was wonderful. But she left it and she said it's over and done. But the body still have memories of what has occurred to it, what has happened. She never went into trauma healing. She never had therapy, as far as we know, at least. And that could, because we know that from other people, that could actually jeopardize your health when you get older, and then your body starts to react because the body has body memory.
Yes, that's what I think. I mean, she was on stage since she was 17, and she did it her whole life. And but her backpack was huge, very huge, more than most people. And if you don't take care of this backpack, it will kill you in the end. Even though she became 83. I have here a whole bunch of stuff, and I had a lot of newspapers over there from 2000. And one story said, I don't know, it was just flipping through, and I thought, Tina Turner will be 120. She is so blah, 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 blah. And I was, oh my God, I wish nobody wants to be 120, even if you are Tina Turner. But 83, I was really hoping for a few more years for her.
They did say, and I think she even said it herself, or somebody said it, that she would be 96 or 93, something like that. But of course that didn't happen. But what I was just saying is that if you don't, it was like she did that last tour, and maybe instead of it killing her, that's just my 2 cents. Instead of it killing her, she knew, she understood, and she felt absolutely 100% sure that she would never go on a stage again after May 2009, and she knew that. And then that it was almost like she let everything go. I mean, in terms of the body not needing to be ready for the stage.
And I can hang, everything can hang, so to speak. And that is, yeah, maybe.
And maybe that's a way to, I mean, it's speculation, but it's still like saying that could also be why things change. Everything was in order. She was now fine, happy, never had to go back to the battlefield. If, you know, it was almost, you know, at the end, like she felt it was, you know, quite a major task. She was ready even in the 90s to not go on the stage again.
Yep.
She said,
yeah. One time there was, she was on television, and it was after the Foreign Affair tour. They had a party and whatever. Are you really quitting? Yes. You've said it before. Oh, I did. Yeah.
it's a long time ago. That was a long time ago since she started saying, I'm not going on stage again. But that made everybody run to buy the tickets, obviously.
90, 93, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. Oh my God, the woman worked so hard. She really worked her butt off.
She really did. and we're proud that we've had all these moments. Just here before we end, can you say like what are your favorite Tina Turner songs and albums?
Okay, my goodness. I love On Silent Wings. I love Break Every Rule. I love When the Right Man Comes Along. Um, yeah, several more. Break Through the Barrier.
And what is your favorite Tina album?
I don't have a favorite album, but if I have to choose, Wildest Dreams.
Really? Wildest Dreams.
There's one other song which I like very much. Talk to My Heart. That one is also very special.
Yeah, it was a song she dedicated to her mother when she was singing with that gospel choir in London.
Yeah, I was there.
You were, definitely. Yes, yes. I remember. Yes. So, yeah. Okay, so Wildest Dreams is actually your favorite full album if you had to choose.
Yes, I think so.
Mm. What is it about Wildest Dreams that make you think that there's something extra special there on that one?
It's just a feeling. And feelings, what do you do with it?
And also, it was a special time. It was a time there. We talk about that whole era was so special, wasn't it?
96 was really big for meeting her, doing all the shows.
What do you feel will be Tina's legacy from now on? I mean, there will be new generations, and there are even a very, very young generation that doesn't really know Tina very well. Maybe they were more introduced to her here again after she passed away. But I mean, what do you think will be her legacy in the world and in the field of music, which has changed a lot since she was on top of her game? What do you think will be in the future?
She had too much power. She had too much poverty. She had too less love. She had too much love. And it's never like this, like a river, a calm river. Her life was up, down, up, down. And she felt from one high point to another high or low point. And since 2013, after she got married, 3 months, she was very happy. Maybe she had little problems. Nobody knows. She had it already on her wedding day, a little strange feelings. But after that, her body went down, so to speak. Even though she went to the United States to say goodbye to the fans, even though she went to the Ulrich Theater to go to the musical, she was sick. She was really sick. And nobody knew, so to speak, because she is a powerhouse and nobody will get her under.
Did you like the musical? Did you like it better than the biopic, the movie What's Love Got to Do with It, about her life, or do you like both?
Well, I have seen the musical several times. I've seen the movie several times. It makes me cry. I can't say you're happy. Only that short time when she met Erwin and when she finally got married, you see her happy. Look at the pictures with Erwin. She's always in a kind of, Erwin. She adored him. That's what you see. I see. I don't know if anybody else it sees.
But did you like the movie or the musical better, or did you enjoy both?
No. Ah, the endings were okay.
So
That's it.
so you didn't particularly like any of, uh, well, any of them?
I think it's difficult because in the movie there were mistakes, and in the musical are mistakes. But you can't tell everything because you have to write it on paper. Will you see really what happened? I mean, at a certain point, Rhonda comes in and Ike comes in and he is zipping his trousers. And you think, huh? Oh, Rhonda, did you go sleep with Ike? And then you see her with the baby. And I mean,
Yeah, it's difficult to put all of that on the stage, right? I mean,
I
and to
think it's very difficult.
make the story flow, and you have to put so much in and so many songs, and but I think they did an amazing production, especially with Adrian Warren, which is the one I thought was the best one, huh?
Oh, yes, he was definitely the best. But on the other hand, in Holland, the songs were in Dutch, which I don't like very much. I mean, it's an English speaking lady. Keep it English, not Dutch.
No, and in Germany it was in German. German and Dutch, and in Spain it was Spanish. I mean, Tina never spoke those
Oh,
languages. I mean, and we know the songs, but yeah, I guess it's because they spoke the words in Dutch and in German and wherever the musical has been, and then they, you know, wanted to put the whole thing together. It's a story. Every song tells a story, so that's why they wanted to do it in that language that in the
well,
country it was
I
put out.
think I think it was a mistake. I mean, if you ask me then, what do you think best? Then I think the movie is better because it's English and that's her language. And that was with Angela Bassett. And she was also fantastic.
Mhm. Yes, definitely. She's very good in the
Oh, yeah.
role, as I also think Adrian Warren was as Tina in the musical. But of course, as being a longtime fan, it can be very difficult to see anybody try to portray or to look or in a bad wig, or I mean, where things are not totally right. You know, it's like impersonators. Some impersonators are fun and it's great, but I mean, some are also just, you know, really not Tina. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. I think it's fantastic what they have done. The production is okay. And they have touched several things, so to speak. I can't remember that I ever read in one of Tina's books or from Eddie that Rhonda had a relation with Ike.
Yes, yes, it's in Tina
Okay.
in the book, in her autobiography, Tina, that she wrote with Kurt Loder, that came out in '86.
Yep.
It was mentioned and said that Rhonda was actually Ike's first white girlfriend, and I think that was her way in there. It
Ah,
happened by
that way.
accident, I think, or it happened because Ike slept with all of these women. And as far as we know very clearly, it was not what Rhonda wanted, and it was not who Rhonda was devoted to. Rhonda was always devoted to Tina.
I know. Yeah, well, anyway, that must have slipped my mind that they had a relation. Maybe I didn't put that together like that.
Yeah,
It
well, Ike had a relationship to Rhonda until it ended, and she became the you know, the tour manager for them. And I never went into those things with Rhonda in my interview with her because it was agreed that I should not ask those questions. So, and therefore she was first reluctant to talk about it, but I said I have to mention a few things. At least, you know, people, an audience would be upset or think it's strange if I never ask about what she saw about the abuse, and that would give her a chance to say, oh, I don't want to talk too much about that, because she was really protecting Tina, and I thought that was fine, but then at least it was mentioned. So that was the good thing. And then the whole interview was absolutely wonderful, and people can see that on my channel. It's a great success. But the thing about Rhonda is that she was the only one who stayed with Tina, also for until the end of time, and was giving a lot of material for the documentary film that was made about Tina, a great documentary in 2021. And finally, she was in that show. I mean, in the musical, which she deserved, because not a lot of people that has been working for Tina has been mentioned. But just to end on about what happened, every woman who was working for Ike was,
Oh, that's something because this huge book here with all the newspapers, only a drop from. There are a few articles about Eddie Armani, and just I read what you said, that all the girlfriends of Tina ended up in bed with Ike.
Yeah, because he was practically living with Tina and Ann Thomas.
Yeah.
Who became Tina's best friend, and she had the daughter with Ike.
Yeah.
At the time when Tina had enough and attempted suicide in '68. And then there was the housekeeper, who was so great as a kind of a strict second mother to the children, Anne Kane, but she was who married the guy from Temptations. Mm-hmm. And she was the housekeeper, but she was also one of Ike's girlfriends. And I mean, and so many of the Ikeettes, I guess, had to go through Ike to, I don't know, get the job or whatever. There's a lot of stories about that. And my God, it's history on so many levels, about a certain time in America, in the African American culture, in music that was segregated at the time before it became more popular, and Ike and Tina became very popular with the white audiences as well. So suddenly it was both. And of course we know Tina as somebody who conquered Europe.
Oh yes. Something else. Have you read the book from P.P. Arnold, Soul Survivor?
I have not read the book, but I know it's out. But I know that she was on. She talked about, there was a section and like an excerpt from the book in the British papers about how she witnessed Ike's brutal abuse against Tina. I don't know if that was what you were going to mention.
Ike seems, when there were ladies, and Tina was there too, and he always took his dick out. That was in the book. And P.P. Arnold, P.P. Arnold was raped by him.
Oh yeah, there was something about her being raped. I do remember that. Yeah.
But it seems, regarding P.P. Arnold, Tina was laughing. Well, what could she do? Everybody was laughing when Ike took his dick out.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
And she says that he always did that.
Well, it's in the book. I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, it's her story.
There are so many stories that has not been told yet. And I think the story that Ann Thomas could tell is probably the one that would be the most interesting for all of us to hear.
Well, contact her, tell her. Yes. So tell her to write a book.
Yes, it would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So finally here, just a question I asked before that we really didn't get to answer, or you didn't get to answer, but what do you think will be Tina's legacy in the future?
I think it will be difficult because for us, it's what we have experienced. I mean, the younger generation don't even know who she is. And maybe they have seen something in the newspaper or on television. Tina Turner is dood. Who? Who is that? I think, no, I think there will be no legacy for her, not for the younger generation, but I think there will be a legacy if Erwin makes a Tina museum in Zurich. Then we have a legacy for Europe. And I think that will attract a lot of people.
And of course, they have the museum in Brownsville in Tennessee, the Tina Turner Museum. And that is also there. That's in America. So it would be great to have one on both sides, but also about her music. Don't you think that will, all of the great songs and all the great music will live on?
Very often on the radio, we hear What's Love Got to Do with It, which I think is okay. It was her first #1 hit, and then you hear Private Dancer. And I mean, she has had so many beautiful songs. And of course, the best. But you don't hear much different. Yeah, we don't need another hero. That's 4 or 5 songs. Well, she has how many songs does she have? 1 million?
I am tempted to agree with you about that. You get a little fed up with the same ones when there are so many amazing and beautiful and great songs that really can get you going, huh?
Yep. That's what I think. Maybe this is a little bit my Tina doll. Here. Oh, no, it's difficult. Oh, okay. I have Tina's shoes. Do you see? No, you don't see them. No, it's too difficult.
Do you have anything you just want to you want to end with? Anything you want to share here at the end?
I have loved Tina my whole life. And I will still love her till it's my time to go. And I hope then to meet her in the other world.
That's very beautiful. And I want to thank you so much, Elle, for doing this very deep and quite emotional and great, authentic talk with me about Tina and share some of your thoughts and your stories and also the great times that you and I had together. And I also want to thank you because during those early years of my childhood and growing up, it was always so wonderful to be with you. And I feel there's a very strong connection, and I really value that very much. And I want to thank you for that closeness for all of those years and the experiences we had with Tina. It means a lot.
The same here. You're still here.
Love you, and I hope to see you again very soon in person.
Okay, love you too. Thank you for this interview.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you so much to ELLE Denneman joining us from Amsterdam, Holland. And thanks to all of you for watching my podcast, The Lucas Alexander Show, and this special tribute series honoring the legacy and life of the Queen of Rock and Roll, Tina Turner. I also do shows with different types of guests and different topics. I do them mainly in English, but also some in my native language, Danish. Please like and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for notifications. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.